Hello, 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 welcome back to the continuing adventures of Octowich, our Octolich, master of the firestorm, controller of the massive power. Why do I say the massive power? Well, have you seen this guy's spell power? It's fucking high. If I wield the right staves, I can take it off the chart, and that's before I've maxed my appropriate skills. I'm also building up a health and such to become even more tanky than I already am, but suffice it to say, this guy doesn't need to get more powerful. He's already good enough to beat Hells and presumably the fuck did I just do? Presumably the entire game, but we'll have to see that to that. I am of the opinion that the hardest challenge that a player can deal with is the ziggurats. They're designed to be very hard, so it's not by coincidence or mistake, and this guy's already cleared a couple of them. Before entering Cocytus, it is prudent to evaluate whether or not you are ready to lose potions. I am. And whether or not you have maxed your resist cold. I have not. I am, however, wearing a Ring of Fire. If I remove that, I have now maxed my cold resistance. This opens up an item slot, which is interesting. Let's put on this guy. Blink, Rage, RC, AC +6, Dex +4. That sounds like a nice generic power ring. I could have gone with sustainabilities just as easily, but I don't really see myself getting stat drained that much here, so we'll see what happens. We're going to begin with Cocytus, which is Icy Hell. Icy Hell is definitely more of a, to my mind, Icy Hell threatens your potions more than it threatens your survival. The final floor houses one of the highest HP bosses in the game. And for those of you who know who it is, great. For those of you who don't, you will find out shortly, I hope. Or I'll die, but let's not jinx it by saying that out loud twice, because, you know, I don't want to die. I approve of how you all want me to suffer, but still. Ooh! I just realized that isn't my dragon. That's an enemy dragon. And it's going to take time to get used to the fact that enemies can also have dragons, because, you know, I'm used to seeing... When I see a single dragon, I think maybe enemy. When I see massive dragons, I just think mine. Because, you know... I don't summon them one at a time now, is that, or anything. But yeah, the other reason Icy Hell is no real concern to me is because I'm a fire mage by nature, and often I'm running Firestorm when I get this far, so, you know, it stands to reason I'm not going to be scared of enemies that I can easily one-shot. Now, Fiery Hell has the exact opposite problem for me. You know, everybody there is resistant to fire to some degree, and you've got smite targeted hellfire. Objectively, I find fire to be the more powerful element than ice. Even though ice technically can deal more damage, the utility and increased range, quote unquote, it's not strictly speaking a range, but the fact that I don't need to aim it, or the fact that I don't need a line of sight makes it rangey, of fire makes it the better skill for me. Okay, every fail is at 1%. If I remove the Ring of Wizardry, the worst is 4, the best is 2. This is an acceptable level of reduction. We're going to start training fire magic to max out the spell success on the most important spells first. We're also going to work on necromancy. Or, not necromancy, transmutation. Because that's lower level, so it will gain experience faster. And with my extra ring slot now, I will put on sustainabilities, I guess. Yeah, it's always a convenience to have a couple. You know, reduction of stat loss is never a bad thing. Note that I also lost intelligence by taking off the Ring of Wizardry. I lost MR, but as it is, I'm already how resistant now exactly? Extremely resistant. Which doesn't mean that I'm immune. I can totally still be paralyzed by like a really powerful paralysis effect. But you know something? If an enemy paralyzes me, they're gonna have to deal with my dragons. It also means that they managed to get within range of me to attempt a paralysis without me killing them first. And in order for that to happen, they have to get past my... What the fuck just happened to me? Oh. Yeah, so remember hell effects? Well, one of the hell effects, especially in Icy Hell, go figure, is to randomly blast your character with ice. My restore abilities are probably not going to make it all the way down. I kind of wish I hadn't taken this many with me. Of course, there are plenty more in the dungeon for me to go back and pick up if I feel it's necessary, and you know, if anything, the fact that as the logic I put forward before is, if you have many of a potion, then you'll always have at least one when you need it. Whereas if you only carry the few that you need, well, if one of them gets blasted, then you're just screwed. So, you know, it's reasonable. Although I'm starting to already debate the... Ow! There goes another. I'm starting to debate the logic of having opted to bring these potions instead of just gone sustainabilities. Oh my god, what the hell? Alright, you know what? Fuck this shit. Get me out of here. I don't even care anymore. I don't want to lose all my potions for no reason. Changed my mind. Because the way they attack you here, it's not like you can try and play cleverly to stop it from happening. Seriously? You're just gonna summon them all on top of me? That's not fair. Just do that. Okay, there we go. Yeah, let's ditch all the potions. And then we'll see which one I actually need to bring with me for some reason. If the worst should happen, and I find myself desperately needing to restore abilities, I didn't bring any... Yeah, I already ate my last royal jelly. What I'll do is I'll just leave... I'll wait until it happens before I leave, basically. Okay. Okay, so I already know which door it is to get out of here. It's going to be the one I already used. And that's going to take me to another place I know. That's going to take me to another place I know. Okay, no, I haven't been here before. Cool. So apparently the connections between doors is random, but the... Oh no, wait, I have been here. And the next door was directly underneath it. So the connection between doors is fixed as well as the floors themselves. Okay, I've already been to a lot of this floor and didn't find anything, so let's try the unexplored areas. It looks like it's a grid of squares that are connected, so I'm kind of using dig to guesstimate where and then blasting my way through instead of going through all of their hallways. Yeah, but I've already been blasted by ice 3 times, so it was only a matter of time before I lost all my potions if I kept any of them. And most likely I would have gotten lazy and not gone back and picked up the restore abilities, which means I would actually lack restore abilities for the other branches of hell, where it was possible I could have held on to them. Oh my god, there's a lot of bad guys here. I'm going to back off. Now, again, is it necessary to have dragons? No. It's a level 9 spell that you do not need, especially if you're not running a dragon. Is it nice? God, yes. I can get away with one more. You know what? Can you dragons help me out here? I'm stuck inside a freezing cloud, taking about 3 damage per turn because of my resist cold. Any other character I run would have had a cloak by now, because think about it. With the exception of Felids, I guess, which I've run and I wouldn't even be here if I was a Felid. I wouldn't attempt the extended endgame. But any other character I've run would have sufficient space, whatever, that they could afford to spend their cloak slot on a cloak of preservation. This one can't do it. So, you know, losing a lot more equipment than a pack rat like me likes to lose. If this had been version 0.12 and those dragons suddenly didn't see me, they would all be like, "Ah, we don't know what's going on," and then they wouldn't actually attack anything. They're fucking dragons that don't know how to attack when they're alone. Idiots. Okay, all these secret doors, huh? That can only mean one thing. Whatever's in here is a BMF. Bad motherfucker. Okay, or it could mean that there's more doors. I was right the first time. Bad motherfucker. As in sucks at this game bad, not as in badass. Yeah, that went well for me. Went really well for me. These are all probably cold related things. And are you kidding me, guys? I just cleared this room out. Give me a fucking 5 turns without summoning on top of my head. It's like the orb run, except in a dangerous place. Whereas the orb run might become situationally dangerous, this place is perpetually dangerous. It's a good thing I can keep on full lich form. Okay, there's the door. There's the staircase down. Again, you'll notice how liberally I'm using dig. It's part of the reason I like this spell so much is how much utility you get from it throughout the game. Okay, we're on the second to last floor of Cocytus by a surrounded doorway. And by my count, we've been running this vid for almost 10 minutes, which means barely even running this vid. It's so much easier when you don't have to get out of the abyss first. Why don't you go ahead and kill that guy for me while I just walk on by. I'll bring my dragons forward and keep moving. Yeah. By now I would have lost about 8 potions total, maybe more. And if I was carrying large stacks of potions, there would definitely have been more, so it's a good thing I just left all of them behind. Notice that my intelligence has in fact been drained by a couple points and it's down to 29. I didn't notice when it happened. I can only assume it happened because of crystal balling, because unless it was a hell effect, but those usually hit for a lot more intelligence. You know how people, I don't know if any of you have heard, but you may have heard me say, to keep a total of 8 in any given stat, no matter how low you want it to be. Well, that stems from hell, actually, because in hell, it is possible to lose, I think, 1d7 at a time from a hell effect through no fault of your own. And in the old days, that meant instant death. In the new days, today, that means death in 1d 100 turns, I think, or 100 plus 1d 100 turns, or something like that. Or maybe it's just 100 turns flat. I don't know. Okay, bottom line, we found the way down. Our restore abilities would be very nice now because we're at 37. Instead, what we're going to do is put on Ring of Wizardry, so that even without the restore abilities, we can be comfortable that we'll have reliable spell casting. Also, it will improve our intelligence flat. Okay, we are now in the final area, and again, I don't have a scroll of magic mapping, which would have been helpful, so we're just going to do this the old-fashioned way. Normally, my wizards in this position are casting Fly constantly and trying to work their way across this ocean, but they have to contend with the fact that Titans exist, and Titans tend to use an attack that deals triple damage against air. I think it's called Airstrike. So, yeah, that's not a place you want to be. And unlike Lich Form, which I can turn on and off at will, Flight has to expire naturally, so have fun with that. Alternatively, I'll not memorize Flight, but I will use Controlled Blink to get across islands, which works too. But the downside to that is Controlled Blink isn't exactly a cheap spell, and this isn't exactly a this is a minus C tele floor, as most of the key floors are, key final floors are. So what happens is you try to control tele blink somewhere, and you might or might not succeed. If you do succeed, you'll get across the bank. If you don't succeed, because you landed your semi-directional blink, landed anywhere in between, then you're down a lot of mana. So, okay, new plan. You just use ordinary blink and keep going until it works. This works, but it means that you can't ever escape reliably and quickly. So if you're being chased by a powerful enemy, you are now trapped on that island. Okay, so use Potions of Levitation. This is actually how I usually do it. I don't have Fly memorized, or I have Fly, but I don't use it. I blink repeatedly, and if things go wrong and I need to urgently run away by Flight, I just use the spell or the potion. Well, I don't have preservation on this character, so potions are out of the question. And that's all neither here nor there, because I'm an octopode and I can swim, bitches. Not like a cat who's afraid of water. Of course, frankly, in this game, anybody should be afraid of deep water. It's instant death if you swim in it. God, this is satisfying, just blowing everything up. I don't actually know for certain where the rune is, but my gut feeling tells me if I just keep following the curves of this path, it'll be there. Because this floor tends to be similar every time, and I have very vague recollection of this floor, to be 100% honest. Partially because it's not that difficult to floor. To a fire mage. To an ice mage, I'm sure this place is difficult-ish. But even to an ice mage, Ice Storm deals 55% of its damage, regardless of shit, man. My intelligence is down 9 points. That's a lot. My firestorms at this point are gimped. They're not even up to full bars, let alone up to max power. But I can't afford to put on like a ring of fire to help me, because if I do, that will take away a level of cold resistance, and quite frankly, cold resistance here is, I wouldn't go so far as to say necessary. It is a misconception people have that you need to have RF+++, 3 levels of fire to deal with orbs of fire or Cerebov and stuff. The truth is, you need 1 level of resistance. Anything more than that is helpful and unnecessary in just about every situation. But that is contingent, mind you, on how tanky your character is in other ways. How good is their AC? How good is their evade? If you're an overall weak character, then yeah, you obviously need every pinch of resistance you can get. If you're the kind of guy who has no urgent means of getting out of a fight, like a Minotaur or some melee non-caster, well then yeah, it obviously stands to reason that you need to be able to stand there and tank better, which means you're going to take more hits, which means you need better resists. But the first point of resistance cuts it in half. The second makes it around 75%. The third doesn't quite take it to 100. So you see, I'm pulling these numbers out of my ass, admittedly, but that first pip is worth so much more than the second, as to make it not irrelevant to have more, but severely less necessary. One good thing about these hell summons that keep popping up is that I actually get full EXP for killing them, as opposed to, say, ordinary summon creatures where you don't get any XP at all, or you just get a tiny fraction depending on how they've been summoned. What I'm doing here is an old trick that doesn't work in 0.12 but totally works in 0.11. I'm standing next to a teleporter and constantly summoning dragon. Once I fill up the squares around me, dragons start appearing in random places throughout the level. And the advantage of this is, since they're all over the level, they're randomly attacking things all over the level. And in Hell, if the Hell effects try to attack me directly, with the summon, I'm surrounded by a horde of dragons, some of which are, returning to me from elsewhere, and others have been summoned and are filling up the squares. So, I just clear the level for a little while, and then I move on. It doesn't actually clear the level, but it helps. Or it's psychosomatic, leave me the fuck alone. In Hell, though, the longer you do it, the more Hell effects you take, which means the more drained you become, the more resources that get tapped. Okay, come on, what else is there to kill? It's just an Ice Fiend. I remember when Ice Fiends used to be scary. I remember one run I had where I was using a Stabber who was so low level that, and he was low level in terms of his spells. He was good with his spells, but he hadn't found good high-level spells yet. And he had to deal with an ice cave that had an Ice Fiend at the end, and he tried to ninja his way around, and eventually he just went in front of the Ice Fiend, went invisible, and bailed. The Ice Fiend obviously could still see him, but everyone else couldn't, and then he made it out with the loot, which was worthless. Anyway. It's a far cry from this character, who doesn't even know that Ice Fiends were there because the Firestorms killed them too fast. Oh shit. That's gonna be a portal that creates Eldritch Tentacle. I'm just gonna back off, pretend I didn't see anything. Certainly no Cthulhu Lovecraftian horrors here. Actually, the fog is effectively disguising its approach, which actually would make it more dangerous, so I'm gonna just blind Firestorm a few times to try and send it back. I do love Crystal Ball. Sometimes it takes you all the way up, sometimes it keeps you in place, sometimes it takes you down and you have to start going up again. Oh, it's Antaeus! Scamper hence whilst thou hast... what? Whilst life thou hast. Yeah? I'll send you scampering, son. Crap, he didn't even notice. Yeah, he's got some 750 HP. And that's a lot of HP. Of course, I have max damage Firestorms, so It's not actually max damage. Remember, I'm not using any of my enhancers, so it's a good 2.25 less. But he is not going to make it very long. Wow, where did all these guys come from? It's like there was a bunch of ice beasts that were waiting for Antaeus to die to take revenge on whoever killed him. And thanks to all the smoke, I can't even see all the things that have been summoned. I just know they're there. I think what's great about Crystal Ball at high levels of summoning is the amount of mana it gives is just about enough by itself to let you Firestorm, plus have a little bit of change. Alright. There we go. That is the Icy Rune, I assume? I don't know. And this actually is a unique unrandom artifact. I would pick it up, except I don't care. I don't have any teleport scrolls. I do have a tele wand, so I'm just going to teleport myself randomly. Wow, seriously? That was a massive teleport. Look how far it took me. Do it again. This time do it properly. There we go. That's better. Gets me much closer to the exit. That's kind of what I wanted. Because all the exits are in the same place, and since this whole level is pretty much linear, any teleport that takes me away from there will take me towards where I need to be. Oh, snap! Look at that! There's a secret passage here that could have saved me a whole lot of time. I'll have to remember that for next time. Oh, wow. Hell just intelligence sapped me one more time on the way out for safekeeping. Leave me alone, you stupid zombie. I'm gonna have to go back and check the video again, but I don't think there was a zombie waiting for me at the door to hell, or Icy Hell. Which means either he was there somewhere else on the level and just came here and waited, or whatever. It's no point bitching about these things. A lot of my items managed to get cursed as I was in hell. Probably because of all the mummies I killed. Let's wield all these cursed items that I can, and then read a remove curse once to fix them all. Okay, that problem is solved now. Pick out the Staff of Fire. I shouldn't use that, but Ring of Fire I definitely want on, and I can take out the Ring of the Mage for it, because I don't need the Ring of the Mage anymore, apparently. Necromutation is being worked on. Firestorm is already down to 1%, which is healthy. Any more training is just to make it more powerful. Necromutation still needs the work. I'm going to cut the video here. Yeah, so that's it for now. I picked up another rune, cleared out Icy Hell, and all is well in the land of the Teletubbies. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you guys next time.